Hey everybody, it's Mike from the Mike Wagner Show, powered by Sonic Web Studios. Visit online at sonicwebstudios.com for all your needs. Looking at a professional website without breaking your budget? Sonic Web Studios is the answer. Sonic Web Studios offers fast, affordable custom web designs that blow the competition away. Call today, 1-800-303-3960. That's 1-800-303-3960. Or email to support@sonicwebstudios.com. Mention the Mike Wagner Show, get 20% off your first project. Sonic Web Studios, take your image to the next level. Also, time to give official shout out to our official sponsor of the Mike Wagner Show, international warring author Mia Mosensia. If you love fast-paced mysteries, you'll love Missing by Mia Mosensia, available on Amazon in paperback and ebook. Missing is fast-paced and intriguing with an unforgettable twist. Takes place in 4 countries, 2 strangers, 1 target, where truth is illusion and those you love will be the first go missing. It's available on Amazon in paperback and ebook. Missing by Mia Mosensia has garnered great reviews and even loved and enjoyed by Howard celebrities, including Joanna Cassidy, Forbes Riley, and many others. So grab your copy today for it goes Missing by Mia Mosensia, available on Amazon. Also, check out the Mike Wagner Show at themikewagnershow.com on over 40 podcast platforms heard in 110 countries, including Facebook, SoundCloud, Spreaker, Spotify, and iHeartRadio. Also, Anchor FM, iTunes, Google Play, Amazon, Audible, Apple Music. Also heard on HamiltonRadio.net, Oldies FM, Diamonds FM, and coming to a network near you. Take the Mike Wagner Show on any mobile device. Subscribe to the Mike Wagner Show on the YouTube channel. Follow the Mike Wagner Show on Instagram and Twitter today. And for great gift ideas, go to Amazon.com and check out the Mike Wagner Show podcast. T-shirts, pop sockets, throw pillows, tote bags, hoodies, baseball gear, and more. Make sure you get them today 24/7. Amazon.com and check out the Mike Wagner Show podcast. And for more great gift ideas, go to Amazon.com/Mia Mosensia. For great books like Missing, Once, and Wrinkles. Also t-shirts, pop sockets, hoodies, phone cases, and more. Amazon.com/Mia Mosensia. Check it out today. I'll support the Mike Wagner Show on Anchor FM, PayPal, themikewagnershow.com, and you can buy me a coffee at buymeacoffee.com at the Mike Wagner Show. Make sure you do so today. We're here with a terrific lady who's broadcasting for one of the TV studios in West Virginia. She's a co-founder of Sideline Prep, an established network, and current and former professional semi-pro cheerleading to prepare young women for cheerleading with confidence and knowledge, style, and more. We'll talk about that. She's an accomplished entrepreneur, also a coach, public speaker, and a former Wizard girl of the Washington Wizards, and also the co-captain of the Washington Redskins football team, and also many more. She also toured many military bases throughout the world, and she was on the 2008 Bangalore cheerleading squad and also danced in 2009 in Hong Kong. We'll talk about that. She's also host of Operation Rising Star on the Pentagon Channel, and also School Scene heard on Red Apple 21 in Fairfax City. Also in-game host for various teams in the WNBA, NBA, AFL, and the NFL. She also began GS Consulting and Communications, and she's got a huge story to tell. And what does it take to be a cheerleader? We'll find out. Live, ladies and gentlemen, from the Plus Studios in beautiful downtown West Virginia at one of the TV stations. Ladies and gentlemen, the co-founder of Sideline Prep and the amazing, multi-talented GeNienne Samuels. GeNienne, good morning, good afternoon, good evening. Thanks for joining us today.
Yes, thanks for having me. You made me sound pretty impressive there, so thank you.
Well, we're going to ask you to do a cheer, but we're going to save that for later. But we'll have you teach them as well, too. We'll talk more about that. You're the co-founder of Sideline Prep, an established network, and current and former professionals, and of course, semi-pro cheerleading to prepare young women, for the profession. Also teaching about confidence and knowledge, style, and also having carry into the future. You're also an accomplished entrepreneur, coach, public speaker, and a former Wizard girl of the Washington Wizards, co-captain of the Washington Redskins, and you also toured many military bases and host of a couple of shows. You have your own consulting firm. And before getting to all that, tell us how you first got started.
Wow, how did I first get started? That's a great question. So
Way back.
way back. So I literally think my passion for public speaking started in middle school. When you had those SGA elections, your Student Government Association elections.
Mm-hmm.
And that's when I ran for my first office back in middle school. And then that just kind of snowballed. Once I went into high school, I did the same thing. And just really enjoyed public speaking, getting in front of people and just running my mouth. I just, that passion started there. And then for sports, it really started at a very young age, probably even before, elementary school. Both of my parents are educators, but also athletes.
Oh,
So my sisters and I, we ran track and field, I never remember life without track and field. So I did, middle distance. So I was doing the 800, the 4x8, the 4x4. I ran cross country, indoor track, outdoor track. And so I literally did that through middle school and high school. And I cheered 2 years in high school. So funny story here, my sophomore year in high school, I grew up in Richmond, Virginia. So shout out to Hermitage High School. A friend of mine wanted to try out for cheerleading. And I'm like, what? So she's like, come on, let's just skip indoor track practice and head on over to these tryouts. So we skipped indoor track practice and we tried out at that time, it was going to be our sophomore year as cheerleaders. And I ended up making the team and she didn't.
oh,
But it literally started my passion for cheerleading. And so I ended up cheering my sophomore year. I got cut my junior year, and then I made it back my senior year. And then from there, when it was time to go to college, even though I was being recruited by all of the track and field teams at all of the different colleges and universities that I got into, I really wanted to continue with cheerleading. So I ended up being on the co-ed stunt squad at the University of Richmond. And so from there, it just blossomed into me going on to be a Redskinette at the time. Obviously we're now the Washington Commanders, but
I still call them Redskins, to be honest with you. I am old school, John Reagan's.
Well, yeah, and it was a little hard for me as well. When we had the name change to Washington Football Team and now Commanders, I'm the in-game host for the team. So it was difficult going from, hail to the Redskins to let's go Washington, so it was definitely, a work in progress for me with the name change. But that's really where it all got started. Being a dancer and a captain for that team for 8 seasons. And then when I thought I was done and I'd retired after the 8 seasons, that's when the idea for Sideline Prep was birthed. And I missed it. And so people were coming to me asking me, how do I make the team? What do I need to do? And Sideline Prep was founded. And then I decided I wasn't ready to retire. I was helping other women accomplish that goal of going pro. And I realized I missed it. So that's how I ended up auditioning for the NBA team for the Wizards, and eventually ended up going on to be the, a cheerleader, a dancer for the Wizards, and then became the in-game host for the Mystics, which is the WNBA team.
Wow.
And then the in-game host for the Wizards. And then it just kind of snowballed into the Baltimore Brigade. And, now I'm back home with the Commanders, and I'm also the in-game host for the Washington Spirit, which is the professional soccer team in Washington, D.C.
Oh, nice.
So yeah, when you take it all the way back, though, I think it literally started with SGA and track and field. And that's how I ended up becoming, the person that I am today.
Mm-hmm. And what was that one precise moment that simply influenced you into what you're doing for the rest of your career? You talked about the SGA. You talked about, sneaking out of indoor track practice, being a cheerleader. What was that one precise moment that simply said, like a light bulb, this is what I'm going to do for the rest of my career?
Yeah. So wonderful question. So I feel like a couple of different light bulbs have gone off in my head, in all honesty, because I am so multifaceted, and I feel like multi-talented in different areas, a jack of all trades, maybe a master at none. But I have finally narrowed it down to 2. So right now, I'm in a studio. I am a primetime news anchor. I solo anchor the 5 p.m., the 6 p.m., and the 11 p.m. news. And I would say the other passion is a combination of my consulting experience and my love for dance and cheer. And so I really, pulled in my business background in consulting to help organizations improve, and turned that into Sideline Prep, where I'm helping young women and now men improve from the inside out, level up from the inside out to become professional cheerleaders. So I would say, on the TV side, that light bulb went off in college. So at the University of Richmond, I took my first senior year TV news class. And when I was learning about television and reporting what's going on in the community and how to report that information in a very unbiased way, and me having to go out and do my stand-up, being all nervous in front of the camera, the light bulb went off because I was so energized after doing it that this was something that I wanted to do. And then I would say the light. Mhm.
Oh, go ahead. I'm sorry.
No, that's okay. Then I would say the light bulb, as far as the pro cheer side of things, happened in that in-between time when I had retired from the NFL before I made it into the NBA, and me helping other women. I really realized that I was good at it and I loved doing it. I not only loved helping them become better performers and dancers, but the confidence side of things, the mindset part of it. Like, that's what I really, really love. I love helping young women and men realize that they can do it, helping them realize that if it's a desire in their heart to achieve a certain goal, that God, the universe, the spirits, whatever they believed in, that was put into them for a reason. And so they shouldn't ignore it. They shouldn't try to forget about it, because if they do, they're going to live a life of regret. And because they have that desire, it means that they have the capabilities, the skill set, the knowledge to then achieve it. And I'm going to help them achieve it. And so it really has been an amazing experience working with these women that come in broken and seeing them transform over the course of 4 to 6 months in working with us. And then ultimately them reaching their goal of being on the sidelines, dancing for an NFL, NBA team, or, a semi-professional league.
That's really interesting. We'll talk about the pro cheerleader aspect with the Washington Redskins back then. Of course, you got the Wizards, the Spirit, and more. But first, to listen to the Mike Wagner Show at the MikeWagnerShow.com, powered by Sonic Web Studios. Visit online at SonicWebStudios.com for all your needs. Looking at a professional website without breaking your budget, Sonic Web Studios is the answer. Sonic Web Studios offers fast, affordable custom web designs that blow the competition away. Call today, 1-800-303-3960. It's 1-800-303-3960, or email to support@sonicwebstudios.com. Mention the Mike Wagner Show, get 20% off your first project. Sonic Web Studios, take your image to the next level. Also, time to give official shout out to our official sponsor of the Mike Wagner Show, international warring author Mia Molson-Zia. If you love fast-paced mysteries, you'll love Missing by Mia Molson-Zia, available on Amazon in paperback and ebook. Missing is fast-paced and intriguing with an unforgettable twist. Takes place in 4 countries, 2 strangers, 1 target, where truth is an illusion and those you love will be the first go missing. It's available on Amazon in paperback and ebook. Missing by Mia Molson-Zia has garnered great reviews and even loved and endorsed by Howard celebrities, including Joanna Cassidy, Forbes Riley, and many others. So grab your copy today before it goes missing by Mia Molson-Zia. Available on Amazon. Also, check out the Mike Wagner Show at the MikeWagnerShow.com on over 40 podcast platforms, heard in over 110 countries. Take us with you on any mobile device. Subscribe to the Mike Wagner Show on the YouTube channel. Follow the Mike Wagner Show on Instagram and Twitter today. And for great gift ideas, go to Amazon.com and check out the Mike Wagner Show podcast. And for more great gift ideas, go to Amazon.com/Mia Molson-Zia for great books, merchandise, and more. Amazon.com/Mia Molson-Zia. Check it out today. Also support the Mike Wagner Show on Anchor FM, PayPal at the MikeWagnerShow.com. You can buy me a coffee at buymeacoffee.com for the Mike Wagner Show. Make sure you do so today. We're here with the amazing co-founder of Sideline Prep, GeNienne Samuels, here on the Mike Wagner Show. And you've been a cheerleader with the Washington Redskins, then transferred to the football team, then to the Commanders, and everything else. What was it like, being just simply a Washington cheerleader? It's like trying to combine all 3 of the names. I still call Redskins. I don't know why.
It's almost indescribable, in all honesty. So growing up a tomboy and watching, football, NFL with my dad, like my sisters and I always watched football with my dad. And so, realizing that moment when you are actually at that stadium that you used to watch on TV with your dad was just mind blowing. And so being there in that environment with all of the fans in the big lights, being a part of the game day experience, putting smiles on all of the fans' faces as you're signing autographs, and just being there, knowing you're on prime time, right? And you may not ever get on TV, but you're in the background of some of those shots and you're just part of the experience. And being on that field with greats like, Darryl Green, Champ Bailey, LeVar Arrington, so like, it was just such an invigorating part of my life. And then to be able to, full circle, come back home to the Commanders, and now being the in-game host, being there with the fans, having the opportunity to, like, literally, I was a Redskinette, a Washington football team member, and a Commander, right? So I have been there through all three transitions, and I've had the opportunity to interview Doug Williams, one of the all-time greats for the team, and to be a part of that interview, and for him to know me by name is amazing. For Jason Wright, who is the current president of the Washington Commanders now, to have been able to interview him. So it's just been an absolutely amazing experience from beginning to end as a Redskin, as a dancer, cheerleader, and now transitioning into a more, face, like, I guess, brand recognition standpoint, the face of the team on game day as the in-game host has just been indescribable.
It sounds like it. And who is your favorite player of all when it comes to the Redskins / WFT and Commanders? Who is your favorite of all?
Most definitely Doug Williams. My dad, I remember the first time that I was hosting an event for the foundation, the charity arm of the team. And I had to go to what's used to be Redskins Park, but it's, the administrative portion where a lot of the, executives are. And I was hosting this event for little kids, and I went to use the restroom, and I passed Doug Williams in the hall. This was the first time I had ever been that close to him. And he looked at me and he was like, "Hello, how are you doing?" And I was like, "Oh my gosh." Like, I ran into the restroom, did what I had to do, came out, got my phone immediately, and called my dad. I was like, "Dad, you'll never imagine who I just met." And he spoke to me. And it's just because his story is so remarkable, to come in, as the first Black quarterback, and to accomplish what he was able to accomplish, going to the Super Bowl, winning the Super Bowl, being named MVP. And for me to have been able to meet him, and I knew that, Doug Williams was one of my dad's favorite players. That's why my dad ended up, coming over and supporting the Redskins back then during that era. So for sure, Doug Williams. And then I would also have to say a close second would be Darryl Green.
Oh my gosh, that's so amazing. I remember Doug Williams when he first started with Tampa Bay and he led them to the promised land, and going to Washington. I mean, he was just a phenomenal quarterback. I gotta say that. I think many of the kids wanted to really be like Doug Williams. It was like one of the first premier running quarterbacks, it might have been, but he really took it to another level.
Yeah, most definitely. And, what's even more remarkable is that he, in person and one-on-one, he's just as amazing as he was on the field. He, his heart is one of giving and care. And, he doesn't mind signing autographs. And he's just a great representative to have back in the Commanders building, to kind of be that legend, but then also to be able to connect with the current fans now. So just amazing man.
And of course, speaking of the Commanders as well too, what are your thoughts on Carson Wentz being the quarterback of the Commanders?
It's promising. It's hard to say. Every single season I get my hopes up, and I get, super excited about what's to come. And sometimes, I'm happy at the end of the season, and sometimes I'm not, but there is a lot of promise there. A lot of the draft picks, there's been a lot of controversy about our draft picks this year, but there's a method behind the madness. And I truly trust and believe in the coaching staff and the decisions that Coach Ron Rivera is making. And I'm going to throw my support in 100%. And we'll just have to see what happens, because it literally is any given Sunday. So, there's a lot of opinions going on out there, and all we can do is wait until the whistle blows and it's game time.
Mhm. And throw the cheerleaders in the process as well too. And speaking of cheerleaders, what are some of the myths that often people believe about pro cheerleaders dancing and everything else? There are some myths that are involved, and what are some of the things that are simply not true about it?
Yeah, so I would think the biggest misconception is that it's our full-time job and that's all that we do. So that's not the case at all. The majority of teams have requirements where you either have to have a full-time job, or you're a mom, which is a full-time job, or you're a full-time student. So we all have careers. I worked at Verizon when I was a Redskinette. I own my own business going into, the Wizards. I'm now an anchor summer, we have doctors and lawyers, nurses, school teachers, so many professions, so many incredibly intelligent and profound women that also dance. So that's misconception number one. Misconception number two is that cheerleaders are dumb blondes. And I feel like I had to kind of fight that misconception from the very beginning when I first became a cheerleader. We are intelligent. We know what we're talking about. Some of us do love football and can talk the game and the sport, and we have professions and we have something to say, so I think that that's another misconception. And then the other one would just be that it's easy. It's not. So imagine having two full-time jobs, and some of our, cheerleaders are moms, which is a third full-time job. So imagine going to your full-time job, and then after that, you have practice 2 to 3 times a week, and not to mention appearances, promotions, charity events, tours. Oh, and then don't forget the games. Right? So NFL, you've got 10 home games at a minimum. For the NBA, you have 40 plus home games. And so it's a lot of work. What we do is hard. What we do takes a lot of time, but at the end of the day, we're passionate about it and we love it. And so that's what we do.
And sounds like you really love what you do. And how long can you be a professional dancer?
So it depends on the team. So there are some teams that have a cutoff, and they, some teams, once you're on for 5 seasons, then you're kind of forced into retirement, and then you can maybe try to go and audition for another team. For the Commanders and the Wizards, there is no upper limit. So, I, danced for 8 seasons with the Commanders and then 3 seasons with the Wizards. And the only reason I, basically turned in my pom-poms was because they asked me to become the in-game host. They saw what I was doing with the Mystics. They loved me with the Mystics during the summer, and they asked if I would be the in-game host for the Wizards. So that's the only reason that I stopped dancing. I feel like I probably had another 2 to 3 years left in me. But, I'm glad about the decision that I made because, that opened up other doors and opportunities for me. And like I said, now I'm back with the Commanders doing the same thing.
And of course, speaking of the Wizards as well, too, and tell us about your experience with the Washington Wizards, and what was it like, being a dancer, cheerleader for the Wizards, and what was the organization like?
So very supportive organization. I really enjoyed my time with the Wizards. The biggest difference is the number of games and the number of practices. It seems like it just was a lot more hours in practice and at games because you go from like a 10 season home game to a 42 season home games. And the schedule was just a lot harder. So we could have practice on Monday, game Tuesday, practice Wednesday, Thursday, game Friday. There were some days where we were literally at, the arena 6 out of the 7 days. So definitely a very rigorous process. I would also say that NBA is a little bit harder on your body. Dancing on the court is a little harder on your knees and on your limbs. Being out there on the field is softer. So I do think that my body aged a little bit more as a dancer for NBA.
I think many of us do on the hardwood after a while, believe me.
Yeah. So, I mean, and the thing is, I feel like probably we were a little bit more close knit because it was fewer of us. With NFL, we had anywhere from 32 to upwards of 40 women on the team. For the NBA, it's normally around 19 to 21 team members. So we are a bit more, cohesive, smaller group of people, easier to travel and do things with one another. So that's definitely huge advantages there. But I would have to say in DC, because it is, there's so many people traveling there and working there that don't live there. There wasn't as much energy behind the Wizards. A lot of the games were business meetings where people brought their clients. And so you didn't see as much of the red, white, and blue in the stands. Whereas, with the NFL, everyone there diehard, Commanders fans. And so it was rowdier, it was louder, it was bigger, it was, huge. And definitely the cheerleaders are more fans in the NFL than the NBA. We were more of a celebrity with the NFL versus the NBA, but both really amazing experiences. And I'm glad that I was able to do both.
And who are some of your favorite Wizards players?
Wow. So I would, I hate to even mention, Michael Jordan because he was like
Michael Jordan. I grew up watching Michael Jordan.
Yeah, but he was there for like that long, but that was kind of cool just to have him there. And, Bradley Beal, I think about when I was there because I didn't follow, in all honesty, the NBA as closely. I was more of an NFL girl my entire life, kind of growing up. So John Wall and I would say Bradley Beal were kind of, some of my favorites for sure. I do remember when Sam Cassell was there as a coach, it was kind of neat seeing him there on the sideline simply because I do remember him, when I was younger, watching him on TV. So most of my experience and stardom was, definitely with the team in which I was a dancer and in-game host for.
And of course, one more thing about cheerleading before we talk about being a game host and also helping other cheerleaders. How does the professional cheerleading you did differ from the professional cheerleading being being viewed or portrayed like on Netflix or ABC or any of the networks, movies, anything like that? And how does the cheerleading from your end differ from what we see on TV or movies or anything like that?
Yes. So there are a lot of similarities in the sense of it being a very competitive environment, being a very physical environment, having to have the skill set of, whatever it is that you're auditioning for. But for the most part, on the professional level, it's more dancers. Even though we're called cheerleaders, most of the teams for the NFL and the NBA are dancers. And so it's not the rah-rah, it's not the throwing up and catching the feet. It's not that type of cheer. Now, there are teams like the Baltimore Ravens, the Tennessee Titans that now have co-ed stunt squads. So and then some of the NBA teams have, the entertainment aspect with stunning and all of that. But I would say like that's the biggest difference is, we are called cheerleaders, but we're more dancers. So we are looking for more, people that have jazz and ballet background and can do the technical skills because that's normally what's required, especially once you get into the NBA. And with Sideline Prep, that's basically what we help people do. You can come in with like myself, no technical dance background, and maybe you have a cheer background, but we can help you gain the skill set that you need and the technical skills that you need to be able to compete on a professional level at the auditions. So I would say the other big difference is even though skill is very important, you have to be able to execute what's expected of you to make the team. Your appearance is super, super important as well at the professional level. Not to say it's not important, in middle school, high school, and college, but at the professional level, they do want to have ambassadors for their team. So they're looking for people that are well-spoken. They're looking for people that are healthy and treat their body and fuel their bodies right to go out into the community and be an ambassador for the team. So there's a lot more that goes into making a professional team versus a collegiate team. Your, interview skills are important. Filling out that application, being able to introduce yourself, talk to fans, all of that super, super important. Your appearance from head to toe, very important. In addition to the skills and the requirements and the technique and the flexibility and all of that as well.
And how does one become a cheerleader? We'll find out just 1 minute. You listen to the Mike Wagner Show at the MikeWagnerShow.com, powered by Sonic Web Studios. Visit online at SonicWebStudios.com for all your needs. Also brought to you by official sponsor of the Mike Wagner Show, international warring author Mia Muslims Yet Missing, available on Amazon and paperback and ebook. We'll be back with the co-founder of Sideline Prep, GeNienne Samuels, after this timeout. We're back with the co-founder of Sideline Prep and also former Washington Redskins and Washington Wizards dancer GeNienne Samuels here on the Mike Wagner Show. You talked about Sideline Prep and of course, how does one become a cheerleader, and how does Sideline Prep help cheerleaders and also become women, and of course afterwards it's like what are they doing beyond? Tell us more about it.
Yes, for sure. So the whole company is built around kind of this idea that, if you learn from the pros, you can go pro. If you are working with coaches, they can help fast track your way to success, right? So if you're here and you want to get there, you find someone that's already been there to help you get there so that it doesn't take you as long. And so we are literally, our vision, our mission for our company is to be the Harvard of Pro Cheer Prep. And that's exactly what we do. We have a staff of amazing former and current professional cheerleaders on board, ready to assist and help in any and all areas of the audition process. So we bring, people in, we have coaching programs, we have one-on-one sessions that you can work with our coaches on. We have a pro dance academy that goes through instructional video by video, step by step, how to execute certain technical skills that you'll need for auditions. And it really is a comprehensive approach to preparing for your audition. And at the foundation of everything that we do is obviously love and care, but also focusing on your confidence. Because we know that if you walk into an audition and you know in your heart of hearts that you can do it, and if you walk in with that certain level of confidence, then anything is possible. So not only are we through, for example, we have a coaching program called our Pro Cheer Playbook program. It's a 6-month coaching program, literally your step-by-step game plan to go pro. Not only are we helping them with their research and coming up with their goals and making sure they're eating right and working out and the dance and the technique and the flexibility, and helping them with their look, craft their look for their teams, helping them with their audition applications and their pictures and their interview skills. Like, we do all of that, but we also focus on your morning routine and what you are doing every single morning to get your day started off right. We help you with different tools and techniques that when you have a negative thought and you don't want to move forward and you're scared and you have all this fear, doubt, and overwhelm, how you overcome all of that. So we really are focused on development and leveling up from the inside out. And so at the core of it all, like I said, love, care, and confidence.
And what are some other key fundamentals that's also you teach your clients?
As far as for mindset?
Yeah. Key fundamentals, also habits, routines, and everything else. What are some other fundamentals?
Yeah, so for sure. One of the biggest things, this might sound super silly, but making up your bed every single morning. When you make up your bed every single morning as a habit, you already have accomplished something and you can already check that off and feel good about yourself, right? And so it just builds this momentum. Okay, well, if I accomplish that, then what else can I accomplish, right? So in the morning, what are you doing to own your morning? What are you doing for yourself? Are you picking up your phone immediately and looking at your phone and now turning your attention to everyone else's needs, desires in their life? Or are you living your mornings with purpose, meditating, journaling, doing self-hypnosis, working out, listening to motivational videos, working on your pro cheer first thing in the morning and getting those things accomplished first thing in the morning, and then going on about your day. So that's the big thing that we focus on, is making sure that you set up your mornings for success, because if you own your mornings, you'll own your days, you'll own your weeks, your months, your quarters, and your years. And then of course, just, time blocking, making sure that you're putting time on your calendar for pro cheer prep, making sure that you have a sound evening routine and you're getting enough sleep, and that you're, taking your multivitamins at night and you're eating your 3 small meals and 2 snacks a day. All of it helps to make you feel better and have more energy so that you can push forward. And then from there, one of the tactics around mindset that is key is the 5-second rule. Mel Robbins she wrote a book about it and has videos out there. Whenever you have self-defeating negative thoughts, or whenever you are tempted to hit snooze, immediately count backwards, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and then do the thing. Just take action immediately. And it is a brain-based trigger that stops the doubt, the overwhelm, the naysaying, the negativity in its track. Because now you're taking action and you're focusing on the thing that you need to do instead of allowing your brain to talk you out of doing it, right? And so really helping, our lovelies and our gents understand that your brain is designed to keep you safe, to keep you comfortable, to keep you relaxed. And so anytime you're doing something that's not normal, your brain is going to try to stop you. And so all you have to do is 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, say, brain, thank you, but no, thank you. And then go do that thing. And so just small little things like that to really help, our clients understand that having fear and doubt and not wanting to step out of your comfort zone is normal. But when that happens, giving them the tools to push through it.
That's rather interesting as well, too. And would you recommend this if you want to be an in studio talk host as well, too? Like what you're doing is like, I was just going to get to that, but you seem to be in the cheerleading as well, too, and in-game host and everything else. And I'm sure that applies, and a lot of prep work involved, too.
Most definitely. I mean, and that's with anything in your life. Anytime you are stepping out of your comfort zone and you want to do something different, your brain is going to try to stop you and keep you from doing that. I mean, that's, with this, I'm here, I'm a primetime anchor. I've wanted to do this since college. And yes, I've freelanced and I've been a host of Operation Rising Star, an in-game host for this team and this team and this team, but I never took the big step to do this full time. And now I'm here. And it's because I decided to step outside of my comfort zone zone and just do it. I just decided to do it. And I stopped allowing the fear and the thoughts that I wasn't good enough to prevent me from doing it. So any goal that you have in your life, anything that you want to accomplish in your life, you just have to take one small incremental step every single day to make it happen. And before you know it, that will be your habit. Your habit will be taking action instead of your habit being stopping yourself from taking action. And once you make that a habit, then you'll start to see that you're accomplishing so much, accomplishing things beyond your wildest dreams.
That's amazing. What's some of the other advice or tips you would give to people if they want to pursue their goal but can't seem to move forward, like a cheerleader, in-game host, or anything like that? What are some of the other tips that you can also offer?
So first of all, grab this book called Miracle Equation. It's by Hal Elrod, and he talks about there's only two things that you need to create a miracle. One is you have to have unwavering faith in yourself that it's possible and that you can do it. And then two, you have to take action. Right? So you have to believe you can do it, and then you have to take action. So I would say focus on those things, but then also think about, well, what are the habits that I need in order to be successful, to become that, or to accomplish that? And instead of getting overwhelmed with all the steps and all of the things that you have to do, just focus on the habits that you have to implement to then go and do those things. Like getting up every morning and working, just doing one thing toward that goal. That's a habit that you can focus on, right? Taking one small step every single day, because sometimes we get so overwhelmed with all of the things that we don't take any action because there's like, you're so paralyzed about all of the things. You don't have to do all the things right now. You just have to do one. Just focus on one thing. Have faith in yourself and then take action, and just one thing every single day. And I would say that that would be like my biggest piece of advice is just do the thing, just take action, because the more that you start to work toward it, then you'll start to see that you are developing the habits to continuously work toward it. And then the next thing is to find a coach, find a mentor, find, someone that can help you. Do not reinvent the wheel. If you know that you want to become an anchor, find an anchor who's already done it and go get advice and help. In-game host, same thing. Professional cheerleader, same thing. Lawyer, doctor, nurse. Whatever it is that you want to do, there are people that have already done it. So find a mentor that can help you and guide you and coach you and take years out of the process and help you fast track your way to success.
That is rather interesting. You talk about the first thing you do in the morning, making a habit. I'm glad you remind me. This is the first thing I do in the morning. So
And this is the first thing I do in the morning. So like, I always have my water next to me. That's another thing. Like, it's these small incremental habits that you create for yourself that fuel you and that energize you to be productive and to be happy every single day. And, I probably should have also said, when I think about it too, in the mornings, as I'm laying there, like, okay, I'm getting ready to get up, also really thinking about what are you grateful for, right? And just having and living a life of gratitude. That's another huge habit that you should focus on, because when you're focusing on what's good about your life and when you're focusing on why you're happy and what you're grateful for, then you don't have room to focus on the negative because you're so focused on the positive. And so living and thinking and being in gratitude is another amazing habit to kind of have in your tool belt.
oh, that's so amazing. I'm gonna put that on the bucket list for sure. That's so inspiring. And where can we find more information about Sideline Prep, and how do people get a hold of you, or if they want to sign up or get more information?
Yeah, most definitely. So we are on like all social media platforms, Facebook, IG, YouTube, Twitter, TikTok, at Sideline Prep, like literally at Sideline Prep. That's how you can find us. For me, I would love if anyone has questions about anything at all, starting your own business, going into consulting, obviously pro cheer, anchoring, whatever it is, in-game host, anything. I can be reached at GeNienne with a G. So it's literally my name with WITHAG.
Okay, we'll certainly do that. We're here with GeNienne Samuels, the co-founder of Sideline Prep here on the Mike Wagner Show, also former cheerleader for the Washington Redskins / football team / Commanders, also Washington Wizards and more. Just a few more minutes here. You've been amazing. Love to have you back. Maybe talk some football during the NFL. And what else can we expect from you in 2022 and beyond, GeNienne?
Yes, so I have so much in store for this year. So we are actually going to be starting our own Pro Cheer podcast for Sideline Prep, and it's all going to be about leveling you up. So more details to come about that, but it will be at the foundation, obviously Pro Cheer related things, but we're going to be inviting in a lot of former professional cheerleaders that have gone on to do great, amazing things. And the focus is really going to be about leveling up from the inside out. So that's coming up this year. We have our Pro Cheer Playbook program that's going to be launching in the fall and winter. We just started one for the summer, so that will be coming. And then I am going to be taking steps to further my career as an anchor. So I've had an amazing time here so far in West Virginia. So I'll be creating my demo reel and hopefully, moving on to a bigger market. In addition to that, you're going to see me at the home games this summer for Washington Spirit at Audi Stadium in Washington, D.C. I'm the in-game host for the Spirit. And then obviously back at FedEx Field for all of our home games with the Commanders.
We are certainly looking forward to it and checking those out. And who do you consider biggest influence in your career?
Oh, my parents. Hands down, my parents, they did such an amazing job. Biracial parents, raising us in a very volatile time when interracial dating and marriages and biracial kids was kind of frowned upon. And so they really did an amazing job raising us to love one another, regardless of skin tone, how tall you were, how big you were, what you accomplished, and really instilled in us the values of hard work and being winners through, the sports and just loving one another, being raised in the church and loving each other and one another and the people around us unconditionally. So most definitely my parents, and both of them being entrepreneurs. They had full-time jobs as school teachers, but both of them also had other means of income coming in to support and raise us and do the best that they could. And so definitely all love and shout outs to my parents.
Oh, certainly amazing. That's great as well, too. And what's the best advice you can give to anybody at this point?
1%. I would say focus on 1%. So my best advice is don't try to do it all. Don't try to feel like you have to be perfect. Just do better today than you did yesterday. Be 1% better today than you were yesterday. Show up 1% more authentic, real, happy, joyous than you were the day before. Because if you are focusing on just 1% improvement every single day, imagine what you are going to be able to accomplish. Imagine how you're going to show up. Imagine the lives that you're going to impact within 365 days.
Wow, that is amazing. Great advice indeed. Once again, with the co-founder of Sideline Prep and former Washington cheerleader, GeNienne Samuels here on the Mike Wagner Show. GeNienne, a very big thank you for your time. You've been absolutely fantastic. Learned a lot from you. Looking forward to having you again soon. Make sure you keep us up to date. Keep in touch. Love to have you back. Once again, tell us about your upcoming projects. What's your website? How do people contact you? Where can people simply check out Sideline Prep and more?
Yeah, so sidelineprep.com, and then on all social media platforms at Sideline Prep. And then also GeNienne with a G. Would love for you all to follow me, friend me, communicate with me. And it's literally GeNienne with WITHAG. And GeNienne is spelled a little uniquely. I shouted out my parents. The capital G is for Gerard, my dad. Then
Oh,
it's
wow.
E, capital N for Nancy, my mother. And then IENNE.
That is clever. I love that. That was great.
Yeah, they got creative.
Yes, I did indeed. And I'm going to probably do that with my grandkids. Once again, GeNienne, very big thank you for your time. You've been totally amazing. Looking forward to having you again soon. Make sure you keep us up to date. Keep in touch. Love to have you back. We wish you all the best. You've got a great future ahead of you. And go Washington.
Yes, thank you.